16,380. Just let that number sink in for a minute. 16,380. That's the number of hours the average student will spend in the classroom from age kindergarten through 12th grade. That's a lot of hours. And even though this is a universal number nationwide, how each state spends these hours varies. And as a teacher, I'm going to devote my life to spending those 16,380 hours in a way that's productive and that helps students grow and learn. And I want to use those 16,380 hours to the best of my ability. And for you as future parents, grandparents, this will affect your children, how they spend their 16,380 hours. And according to the U.S. Census Bureau, at any given point on any school day, over 1/4 of the total U.S. population is in the schools. Think about that. 1/4 of the total U.S. population, that includes teachers, students, administration, faculty, and staff, are in the school buildings. This affects everyone. This affects our nation. And so I believe, because this is such a big part of our country and our nation, that we should move from the normal 9-month school calendar to the 11-month school calendar for two reasons. One, to promote a more well-rounded and balanced education for our children. And number two, to prevent summer learning loss. So first, let's talk about how this promotes a more well-rounded and balanced education. So this 11-month period of time that we are going to have for the schools will be the same number of days, the same 180 days that a normal school spends in session, but it's spanned out a little bit differently, more different than the 3-month period. For this plan, we have a 45-day period and then a 15-day break period. So on 45, off 15. And this allows both students and teachers to get a break to rejuvenate and refresh and to let that knowledge that they've been learning sink in a little bit and then come back and hit learning hard. And so this allows them to be better prepared and better ready to learn and not to have that kind of burnout through half the school year. According to Niche, which is a website that just takes statistics from all schools around the nation, 3,181 schools have adopted this program nationwide. And of those schools, they only have a 2% dropout rate just because of the way they have structured their schools. This also allows a more flexible vacation time for parents. Think about it. We have 15 days off after every 45 days, so vacations could be planned for different times of the year rather than just in summer. So it's a little bit more flexible for them. There are some cons to this, of course. I do recognize that, of it being hard for parents who have students that the parents are working, and so what do we do with their students when they're off of school? And so I think the schools could offer options and offer different programming throughout the break if they wanted to allow those parents to have a place to send their children where it's a safe environment and they're still learning. So now let's move on to discuss how moving to a year-round schooling would prevent the summer learning loss. So according to the National Summer Learning Association, learning loss is experienced by all students when they do not engage in educational activities during the summer. Research, which spans over 100 years, shows that students typically score lower on standardized testing at the end of the summer than at the beginning of the summer, based on the same material. They also state that more than half of the achievement gap between the lower and higher income youth can be explained by unequal access to summer learning opportunities. So as a result, the low income youth are less likely to graduate from high school or enter college. So not only does this 11-month school year period affect the way that students learn and the standardized testing results, but it also affects the higher and lower income students. Think about the lower income students. They don't have as much summer learning opportunities as the high school students do. In fact, the National Summer Learning Association says that more students lose about 2 months of grade level equivalency in mathematical computation skills over the summer months. Low-income students also lose more than 2 months in reading achievement, despite the fact that their middle-class peers make slight gains. So this affects not only just student population as a whole, but the socioeconomic background of some students. So the low-income students don't have as many summer opportunities to be able to learn, but if we switch to an 11-month school year, then they're engaged and involved in more learning activities and learning programs throughout the year that do not allow them to decrease in their knowledge or decrease in their learning, but allow them to grow and learn more and more. So this creates more opportunities for students to thrive and be involved in a school district throughout the year rather than just in the summer months. So in conclusion, research shows that schools get more balanced education, more flexible vacation time, and less summer learning loss. So how you divide the time of a student in the classroom, and it really matters, as we've seen. So what will you do with your 16,380 hours?